Napoleon Bonaparte, a name synonymous with ambition, strategy, and ultimately defeat. Born Napoleon Bonaparte in 1769 on the rugged island of Corsica, imagine a young Napoleon navigating the sun-drenched streets of Ajaccio. Corsica, recently conquered by France, provided a backdrop of political turmoil. This atmosphere, coupled with his family's minor noble status, instilled in him a sense of pride and resentment. His father Carlo secured Napoleon a scholarship to mainland France. At 9, Napoleon left his family in Corsica. He traveled to the prestigious Brienne-le-Château military school. Surrounded by the sons of French nobility, his Corsican accent marked him as an outsider. Despite the challenges, he excelled in mathematics and military history. This period sowed the seeds of his later military genius. Little did anyone know that this ambitious young man from a small island would one day reshape the destiny of Europe. The French Revolution erupted in 1789, shaking the very foundations of France. This tumultuous period provided an opportunity for the ambitious young Napoleon. He quickly rose through the ranks of the French army, his tactical brilliance and charisma impossible to ignore. Imagine Napoleon, now a young artillery officer, commanding his cannons with unmatched precision. His victories in Italy against the Austrians, once thought invincible, echoed across Europe. He became a hero of the Republic, his name on everyone's lips. From the Italian peninsula to the Egyptian sands, Napoleon's star continued to rise. His ambition knew no bounds. He envisioned a grand French empire stretching across continents, with himself at its helm. The Egyptian campaign, an audacious attempt to disrupt British trade routes, further cemented his legend. Though ultimately unsuccessful, the campaign showcased Napoleon's audacity and his ability to inspire his troops even in the face of adversity. The echoes of his victories, amplified by his masterful use of propaganda, reached every corner of France. The French Revolution began with ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity. By the late 1790s, it had descended into chaos. The Reign of Terror left its bloody mark, and the people yearned for stability. Napoleon, returning from Egypt, saw his opportunity. He seized power in a bloodless coup in 1799, becoming first consul. The revolution paved the way for a new emperor. Napoleon was a man of the people, a product of the revolution. He understood the need for stability and reform. He introduced the Napoleonic Code, modernizing French law. Under his rule, France experienced stability and prosperity. Schools were built, infrastructure improved, and the arts flourished. Napoleon embodied France's revolutionary spirit, tempered by order and ambition. Napoleon Bonaparte is often remembered for his military conquests, but his impact on law and governance is equally significant. In 1801, he introduced the Napoleonic Code, a comprehensive legal system that revolutionized French society. For the first time, all citizens were equal before the law, regardless of their social status. The code abolished feudal privileges, enshrined property rights, and established a secular legal system. Its influence extended far beyond the borders of France. Even today, the Napoleonic Code continues to influence legal systems around the world, a testament to its enduring legacy. Section 5. Conquering Europe. From the pyramids to the Kremlin. Napoleon's ambition knew no bounds. With France unified and strengthened under his rule, he turned his attention to the rest of Europe. He envisioned a Europe united under French leadership, a continent free from the shackles of old empires and outdated ideologies. His armies, led by brilliant marshals and inspired by their emperor, marched from victory to victory. From the sun-drenched battlefields of Italy to the snow-covered plains of Russia, Napoleon's military genius seemed unstoppable. Imagine the thunder of cannons, the clash of steel, the cries of soldiers as Napoleon's armies swept across the continent. He fought and defeated Austria, Prussia, Russia, and Spain, redrawing the map of Europe with each victory. He established puppet states, placed his relatives on foreign thrones, and spread the ideals of the French Revolution through gunpowder and conquest. His empire stretched from the Atlantic coast to the borders of Russia, his name whispered in fear and admiration. For a brief, shining moment, Napoleon Bonaparte was the master of Europe. Section 6. The Russian Winter, a turning point in Napoleon's fate. The year 1812 marked a turning point in Napoleon's fortunes. Determined to crush Russian resistance and cripple his most powerful enemy, Napoleon embarked on a fateful campaign into the heart of Russia. Imagine the Grande Armée, over 600,000 strong, marching eastward, a seemingly unstoppable force. They crossed the Niemen River, their bayonets glinting under the summer sun, confident of a swift victory. But Russia, a land of vast distances and harsh winters, would prove to be Napoleon's undoing. The Russians, led by the cunning General Kutuzov, refused to engage in a decisive battle. Instead, they retreated eastward, employing a scorched earth policy, burning crops and villages in their wake. As summer faded into autumn, the Grande Armée, depleted by hunger, disease, and constant harassment by Russian forces, found itself trapped in the vast Russian wilderness. Then came the winter, a Russian winter in all its unforgiving fury. Section 7. The 100 Days. A last grasp at glory. The disastrous Russian campaign had weakened Napoleon, but it had not extinguished his ambition or his hold over the French people. Escaping his enemies, he returned to France in 1815, rallying his supporters and raising a new army. His return sparked a wave of enthusiasm across France. The people, weary of war and yearning for the glory days of the empire, flocked to his banner. Napoleon, the once and future emperor, promised them victory, a return to glory. For 100 glorious days it seemed as if the old magic had returned. Napoleon, with his characteristic energy and charisma, rebuilt his army, rallying veterans and inspiring new recruits. He marched north to confront the Allied armies gathering to oppose him. The fate of Europe once again hung in the balance. Could Napoleon, against all odds, recapture his former glory? Reduced to a single crushing defeat. Section 9. Exile and Death. A lonely end for a giant of history. After the disaster at Waterloo, Napoleon's fate was sealed. He surrendered to the British and was exiled to the remote island of St. Helena, a lonely rock in the South Atlantic. Gone were the cheering crowds, the thundering cannons, the intoxicating scent of victory. He spent his final years on St. Helena, a prisoner of his former enemies, dictating his memoirs and reflecting on his extraordinary life. The once mighty emperor, now a shadow of his former self, was reduced to pacing the grounds of his small residence, his dreams of glory replaced by memories of what might have been. On May 5, 1821, Napoleon Bonaparte, the man who had shaken Europe to its core, died far from the battlefields and palaces that had defined his life. Section 10. Napoleon's legacy, a complex and enduring figure. Napoleon Bonaparte's legacy is a complex tapestry of triumph and tragedy, of progressive reforms and ruthless ambition. He was a man of contradictions, a revolutionary who became an emperor, a military genius who died in exile. He left an indelible mark on France and on Europe. His Napoleonic code continues to influence legal systems around the world. His military campaigns, though ultimately unsuccessful, reshaped the political map of Europe. His name remains a byword for ambition, strategy, and the intoxicating allure of power. Was he a hero, or a tyrant, a liberator, or a conqueror? The debate continues to this day, with historians and enthusiasts alike grappling with the complexities of his character and the enduring impact of his actions. Section 11. Conclusion: The man who shaped modern Europe. Napoleon Bonaparte's life, though ending in defeat and exile, was a testament to the power of ambition, the allure of glory, and the enduring impact of one man on the course of history. He was a product of his time, shaped by the tumultuous events of the French Revolution. Yet he also helped shape those events, leaving an indelible mark on France, Europe, and the world. His story continues to fascinate us, to challenge our assumptions about power, ambition, and the nature of greatness. He remains a figure of endless fascination, a reminder that even the most brilliant stars can fall, and that history is often written by the victors, but the vanquished also have their stories to tell.